All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the business model of a modern digital entrepreneur, and we're going to use the career of Chloe Rannoch as our case study to really figure out how a personal brand can blow up into a seriously powerful business. Okay, let's start with a number, 3.8 million. That's how many followers a single 25-year-old creator has, and that's just on TikTok. Now, that number is huge for sure. But honestly, it's just one tiny piece of a much bigger and more strategic puzzle.
So how does that even happen? How does one person build a digital empire that big? Well, that's what we're here to do. We're going to unpack the entire strategy, look at the platforms, and break down the content that took someone from a small-town server to a global internet phenomenon.
Okay, first things first. An internet empire emerges. We're going to try and understand the case study here. So, who's at the heart of all this? Her name is Chloe Rannoch. She's a British content creator, a cosplayer, and an adult entertainer. And she basically represents this whole new wave of digital entrepreneurship that's, well, it's completely changing how we think about careers and fame.
Yeah, at just 25, she's a huge multi-platform success story. She's leveraged her online identity into a really significant self-owned business. And here's the thing you've got to get. This is not traditional celebrity. This isn't fame handed to you by some big studio or a fancy agent. No, this is about one person building a business from scratch, using nothing but the tools the internet gives you to create a direct-to-consumer empire.
All right, let's look at the origin story, from Rotherham to Reach. And this is where things get really interesting, because where she came from, it's probably not what you're thinking. And honestly, it's a huge part of why her brand works so well.
So check this out. Her journey didn't kick off in London or LA. Nope, it started in Rotherham, a working-class town in South Yorkshire. This timeline here, it shows an absolutely dramatic 5-year transformation. I mean, from a local restaurant job to having a global reach online. It's kind of wild.
And you know that early job she had at Hooters? It was way more than just a job. You can think of it as her training ground. It taught her how to handle attention, how to deal with people, and most importantly, how to hustle. Those are skills that became absolutely essential for managing her own online brand later on.
Okay, so now for the multi-platform money machine. Let's deconstruct the business model. This is the core of the operation, right? How does this all actually work? I mean, how do you take a bunch of followers and turn them into a real, sustainable business? Well, it all comes down to being super strategic about how you use different platforms.
And her social media ecosystem is honestly a masterclass in making platforms work together. Each one of these free platforms has a very specific job. TikTok, that's the viral traffic driver. It just pulls people in. Instagram is for the lifestyle and community stuff. X, formerly Twitter, is for direct communication and teasers. And then you have Twitch for that real-time interaction. It's not random. It's a machine where every part has a purpose.
So that brings us to the subscription funnel. Where's the money actually coming from? Well, it's a classic freemium model. You see it everywhere. Her free account acts as a giant marketing funnel. It's not the main event, it's the preview. It gives you teasers, promotional stuff, basically just enough to get you interested. The goal, to get you to subscribe to the premium account. That's the core revenue driver, charging $14 a month for all the exclusive content. And what this does is it creates a really clear customer journey. Think about it. Step 1 is discovery. You see a viral video on TikTok or a cool cosplay photo on Instagram. Step 2 is engagement. You follow the free accounts for more teasers and updates. And then, step 3 is conversion. You subscribe to the premium stuff. It's a perfectly designed funnel, guiding people from "who's this" to "take my money." All right, let's talk about the content strategy playbook. What makes the brand stand out? Because look, having a smart business model is great, but you got to feed the machine with the right content. So what is she actually posting that makes this whole thing tick? Turns out there's a very clear 3-part strategy at play.
Yeah, her content is anything but random. It's built on 3 pillars: the cosplay angle, the gaming identity, and everyday relatability. Each of these is designed to pull in a different crowd and build a brand that has a lot of different sides to it. Let's break them down.
First, the cosplay. This is so smart. It's not just playing dress-up. It's a strategic way to bridge mainstream appeal with her niche market. It lets her tap into these huge built-in fan bases for anime and video games, communities that are already online and super passionate. Plus, it gives her an endless supply of ideas for new content.
Then there's the gaming identity. Hopping on Twitch and actually playing games, that gives her major credibility. It's an authentic way to connect with the gaming community in real time, beyond just posting photos. It makes her feel like one of them, not just some outsider cashing in on the aesthetic. That builds a way stronger, more loyal following. And the third pillar, which might be the most important, is relatability. Content showing her struggling to cook, shopping at Primark, or assembling furniture, that stuff balances out all the glamour. It's the key. It makes her seem like a real person. It makes her whole life feel aspirational, sure, but also kind of accessible, which is a really tricky balance to strike.
Okay, so what does all this reveal? Let's look at the creator economy blueprint. When you zoom out, her story isn't really just about one person's success. It's basically a blueprint for how to be an entrepreneur in this totally new economic landscape we're all living in.
So, what is the creator economy? It's a market where independent creators, influencers, artists, you name it, can monetize their content and their audience directly. And Chloe, she's a perfect example of this in action. Individuals like her are now their own studios, their own marketing departments, their own distributors. They cut out all the traditional middlemen.
And don't think for a second this is some small niche thing. We're talking about a market that's projected to be worth over $500 billion by 2027. That's $500 billion. For a whole lot of people, this is the future of work.
There's a quote that really sums it up. She isn't just posting random content and hoping for the best. There's a clear strategy behind everything she does. And at the end of the day, that's the truth. Her success is no accident. It's the result of smart, calculated moves, diversifying across platforms, and having a deep understanding of her audience.
So it leaves us with a big question. In an age of entrepreneurs, what does it truly take to build an empire? Well, her journey shows us it's a mix of a strong brand, a killer business model, and a relentless strategy. And that formula? It's completely redefining what it means to work and succeed in the 21st century.